because this is, like I said, crucial for high achievers. We tend to stay focused for too long. And we tend to forget about our bodies and our health when we're so busy with something. Let me know in the comments, when do you feel like you get into a state of flow where you're working on something and you're just, or doing something, you just forget about time, you forget about space, about where you are, you forget about your body, everything. It's like time is standing still, right? For me, for example, I have this when I have a good conversation just with friends and the conversation is going amazing, and I forget even about my phone, even when I receive messages. I'm just completely in the moment. For example, when you're practicing your passion, maybe, or your hobby, I have this with music. When I'm singing or dancing, I forget about everything and I'm super focused and super in it, right? Or when you're super driven to finish a task and you forget about time and space, there's nothing on this planet, right, besides you and that activity. So this makes you very productive and it feels great, right? But when do you get what are some of the key aspects of flow, really? One is that you need to be engaged in something that balances skill and challenge. It's really a sweet spot between skill and challenge. Because if you're not skilled enough, and I talked about this in a previous life as well, if you're not skilled enough and the challenge is too big, you get anxious, stressed, too perfectionistic. It's not fun, right? When you are very skilled and it's not challenging enough, you get bored. Right? You don't get into a flow state, it's boring. So the task should be not too easy and not too difficult. You have to have that sweet spot. For example, when you have an opponent, say you're a tennis player and you have an opponent, that opponent should be maybe a bit better than you, but not way better, right? That you're just failing and you feel like you're a bad tennis player. The opponent should be just a little bit better so that you feel challenged, you feel it's hard, but it's not too hard. And that's when you get into a state of flow. You need to have a clear goal as well, right? You need to know what you're working towards. You see the end result and you know, this is going to happen when I'm done. I'm going to improve my skills. I'm going to reach this result. It's also linked with positive emotions. So it's something you like doing often, right? That brings you in a flow state. Or there's some aspect of it that you really like. And so there's enthusiasm, there's positive emotion, there's motivation. And it's rewarding because you like doing it and you improve your skills. So it feels very rewarding. So when you're in a state of flow, it's this, you combine action and awareness. So you're very active at that moment and you're super, super mindful, aware, focused, right? And this gives you, this combination of action and awareness gives you a feeling of control, right? Because you're in control of the situation, you're doing it, you're in it. So we can get into a state of flow while just walking, even, by practicing mindfulness. When you're just walking in a street that you've been walking in for the past 10 years, let's say, and you walk with this attitude of newness, of curiosity, like this open attention, that's what mindfulness is, then everything gets interesting and you get into this state of flow. You see shapes in the clouds, you see the trees are changing with the seasons, you see a house you never really noticed before. And even then, you can get into a flow state because you're completely present, you're focused, and it's new and it's exciting. There are positive emotions, and it's enjoyable. So I want to give you a couple of tips how to get into this flow state, right? There are 4 tips I wanted to give you today. And then we will talk about getting out of flow, which is super important for high achievers, right? So 4 tips to get into the state of flow is 1, try to set like an intrinsic reward. Not the reward is not out there, but intrinsic means that it could be, you will improve your skills, right? You're focusing on that. Or the subject is new and you're trying to absorb as much information as you can, right? Maybe you're at work and there's a boring task and you look at it in a different way, like, hey, this is a skill I can cultivate with this, or hey, this is the new thing I can learn with this, or actually that aspect is interesting, so I will focus on that. So the idea is to stretch yourself, right? And surpass your usual performance level, for example, in sports. That's the first tip, just focus on that. Secondly, remove all distractions, right? Because it takes about 15 minutes to really enter a flow state. So imagine 15 minutes, but how many messages do you get? You know, is your social media open? Is your email open? Even when you receive a message and it's buzzing here and you decide to not react to it, it's already too late because your brain made the switch of like, oh, message, no, I'm not going to answer. So it already happened, right? So remove all distractions, turn everything off. My friends know that sometimes I'm just not available at all, maybe in a classic message if it's important, but my Wi-Fi is off, right? I just open my notes or whatever I'm working on and just work on that. So remove all distractions. That's the second one. Third, decide on your productivity window. Remember, this is what I talked about in the empty schedule in my online mini course, where you define when in a day are you personally most productive. Okay, so this for me is in the morning when I just wake up. And it used to be different, it changed, so it can change over the years. But I'm very productive in the morning, so I know that is when I can get into a flow state. If you're more of an evening person, then you will get into that flow state in the evening, right? So decide on your productivity window. That's number 3. Number 4 is you could use music like concentration music, or when you open YouTube and you just look for binaural beats, those are these kinds of beats that help your brain to focus better. So maybe for you it's instrumental, classical music, or jazz music, or whatever. Choose your concentration music, and this has a huge influence on the brain and it will help you get into the flow state. Okay, how are we so far? Let me know in the comments if this is helpful for you. And give me an example of when do you feel you're in a flow state, okay? But when you stay there for too long, when you stay in the flow, remember I told you, you forget about time and space, you forget about everything, which means you also forget about yourself and your energy levels, right? So you forget to drink water. You forget to give your brain a break. You forget to get up and walk around. You forget to really listen to your body. It's like you're completely in this headspace in your brain and you forget to listen and you're actually just draining yourself. So I was kind of sad when I was looking for some extra information or tips I could give you on the internet, for example, in some great books I have. A great book about flow as well. And it was all about how to get into a flow state and nothing about getting out of it. And I was like, interesting, right? This is a missing piece here that I need to give you. Because when we stay too long in that flow, we might even go into a burnout. You know, when your work is your passion and you keep going and you don't respect your energy levels, that's what happens to many of us. And I know many of you can relate to this. So the biggest tip I could give you for that, just from me to you, to help you with getting out of flow, is to set a timer to take a break. Okay. You know, I have the Give Your Brain a Break audio series that helps you take a 5-minute break every day with small little breathing exercises or a mini meditation or a motivational boost, right? Just to teach you the tools to really, it just takes 5 minutes and it's about quality over quantity, right? So that's a tool that you can use, the Give Your Brain a Break audio series. Secondly, you could walk around. You don't have to go outside. You just walk around the house, literally, tidy up some stuff. That's what I do sometimes. You know, I've been focused and I just start doing some dishes or just putting a blanket where it's supposed to be, just some mini things that don't take much time. And it makes your body move. Your body needs to be moving, right? Or you could change also to a standing desk, just change position, make sure your body moves. Another way of taking a break could be staring out the window. Just it helps you, because if you're working on a computer, you have this distance between your eyes and the screen, and you really need to expand that distance, which is better for your eyes as well, to really just look outside and stop watching a screen, right? Don't take a break by just watching your phone. So if you have another way of taking a break, let me know in the comments, and this way we can inspire each other. But the last one I wanted to tell you is drink a glass of water. I have mine right here, always ready here to just take a sip. And you could just walk around, combine that with drinking a whole glass, because you've been forgetting about that when you're just living in that flow, right? So when you finish work, for example, when you get out of the flow state, something you could do is tell yourself, I did a great job. And I mentioned this in my last live about disconnecting from work, right? Just tell yourself, I did great. I have done more than enough. And now it's time to be in my body and not in my brain. The brain has had enough activity. Now I'm going to be in my body. That's the thing that you could tell yourself to get yourself out of that state of flow, to get yourself out of work, right? Another tip is focus on output instead of input. I don't know if you remember, this is one of the key cornerstones in the roadmap for healthy high achievers, to focus on what you put out instead of input. Because we're putting things in all the time, information, social media feed, we're watching Netflix, we're constantly taking things in, reading a book, right? In this information society we're in. But when you focus on output, that's how you can really relax your brain. Whether it's something creative like singing, dancing, drawing, maybe you like journaling, maybe you like, what could be another example? If you know another example, put it in the comments. Because just focus on things that come out of you. And that's how you can really free up that mental space and recharge your energy bucket, right? So what helps for me personally is when I get out of flow, I do like a body scan for 10 minutes, maybe a mini meditation. I turn on some relaxing music to get out of it, or maybe my favorite music, and I dance and sing around the house, right? To really make that switch in my brain. Or I might dance some Zumba. I hope I'll be able to do this soon with my broken foot. But after doing it, like when you're in the flow with an intense mental task, that's something you could do. You could focus more on your body instead of your brain. Okay, people, so these are the tips I wanted to give you. I know we talked about flow some time ago, and I was thinking for like a month or two, like, hey, I should do a Facebook Live on this. So here we are. Remember, from now on, we'll be going live every Monday at 12 p.m. EST, which is 6 p.m. Central Europe time. We'll be here in the Healthy High Achievers group. And that's it for today, Achievers. I'm just wishing you an awesome week, full of flow, full of focus, and full of attention to your body. All right? So see you next week. Have an awesome week.